Icons, how are you all doing today? I hope everything is going well for you out there in Icon Indie Pod land. I'm Super Joe Pardo for anyone who doesn't know. And today is Free Ride Friday with podcasting Q&A. So I am looking forward to answering your podcasting questions. What do you got going on? What's burning a hole in your pocket for as far as what gear you want to talk about? What are you thinking about doing? What website changes are you looking to make? What are you trying to accomplish today on this Free Ride Friday? Thank you for joining us. Drop in the chat where you're listening from. I'm excited to get to answer some questions here. I'm here for about an hour today. I got some things going on. I got some clients to meet with afterwards. So I'm going to need some time to probably eat some lunch at some point. But yeah, this episode of Free Ride Friday on the Indie Pod Daily Show is brought to you by Supercharge Your Podcast. Turn your podcast into your business. Build a stronger community, make more money, and gain notoriety. Join today over at superchargeyourpodcast.com to learn more. And tomorrow is SEO for Podcasting. It's a free live virtual conference for indie podcasters like yourself. Go to indiepodcasters.com/virtual. We'll be kicking it off at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We have Tim Gillette, Regina Celeste, myself, and Jessica Foster all putting in the work, putting in the speaking at this conference. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me see here. So today on Free Ride Friday, I'm getting lots of messages here. So today on this Free Ride Friday, I'm answering your podcasting questions. So drop in the chat where you're listening from, what you're up to, and what your podcasting question is going to be for today. So I want to recap this past week and talk about what's going on. Let's see. So this week, I did the Finding Your Podcast Voice with Susie Chase. That was a lot of fun. You should go back and check that out over at indiepodcasters.com. We talked about niching and figuring out what podcast you should be creating for yourself and your people and all that, and staying motivated through it. It was a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to bringing her back for another session to talk more about niching and discovering your inner ability to podcast. I didn't get to do a Tech Tuesday this week. I think Tuesday I was playing catch up with a whole bunch of people from the previous week. For anyone that's keeping score at home, my ear is feeling better. So thank you for everybody that's reached out and asked about that. It's about 85-90%. It still aches a little bit. My cheek is aching a bit. So I'm dealing with that, but it's not the end of the world. Let's see. On Wednesday, we were supposed to have a Wisdom Wednesday with Eric Hunley. That wound up falling through, and we pushed it to Thursday. So yesterday, man, this week went by so quick. Thursday, I did 3 live streams. If you missed them, you absolutely need to go check them out. One was about building your podcast website for growth. One was about getting more downloads for your podcast with Heather Bayer, and finally, I did the Eric Hunley show, where which was Wisdom Wednesday on a Thursday, where we talked about YouTube and taking your podcast to YouTube. So that was a lot of fun. Brett Allen says, "Good to hear." No pun intended. It's okay. It's a pun intended. I did not enjoy it at all. It was quite disturbing, if you ask me. To live to have no hearing in one of my ears was not cool. And all of the pain, I wouldn't wish that pain on anybody. That was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. By the way, anybody who has not subscribed to the Indie Podcasters Facebook page, you should totally go and do so, so that you can get yourself entered in for Free Ride Friday into the Super Circle, which is the Supercharge Your Podcast group and program where you get to work with me one-on-one, building your podcast into a business. So you can go and check. It's indiepodcasters.com/tube. Go and subscribe. Where's the button at here? It's just showing off the channel. So right now, we were a little stagnant, but now we got some videos coming through, and we got more people subscribing, and I'm hoping to build the channel up from there. For anybody who is, into podcasting and wanting to learn more about podcasting, or get to watch these replays on the YouTube app, or however you consume your media, because this is also a podcast. You can go and subscribe to this show. Let's see. So yeah, Eric Hunley, it was great talking to him, as well as today is Free Ride Friday, and tomorrow is SEO for your podcast, or SEO for podcasting. It's our next free live virtual podcast conference taking place tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Let's see. So please drop your questions in the chat below, so I could help any of you with any of your podcasting questions that you got going on right now, website related, growth, audience related, whatever you got going on. I'm here to help you get those. And I don't know everything, but I will pull up my screen, I will do the searches, I will answer the questions the best of my ability, or get the questions that the internet gives, to get you there where you're trying to get to. So let me see. Well, there was something else I wanted to talk about today. Okay, Brett Allen asks, let's see, or states, if your guest insists on calling in using a landline, etc., I have been using Skype and my Zoom H4n. What is the best way to brighten the audio on their end? Oh, man. So every time I've ever had to do the landline thing, in fact, I just canceled my Skype account like a week or so ago, because they were going to charge me another $30 for something I don't use, which was a phone number for people to call in. Or actually, no, I don't even think it was for a call-in number. I think I got rid of the call-in number a while ago. I had it so I could call out, so I would call them on Skype and then record with that. Now, when you say brighten up the audio, are you like, do you mean because it's recording too low? With their Brett says, yeah. So like I was just using Ecamm call recorder or Skype recorder back when I was using a Mac and doing that. And he says I have that and another service. I mean, when you're editing a podcast, as far as brightening up and expanding the, it's so hard, Brett. You gotta. You're saying yeah, but I don't know what you're saying yeah to, because I know there's a delay. I know there's a delay when that's the case. So I'm not quite sure what you're agreeing to. So when you're trying to edit that audio, I'm trying to think, because it's been a while since I've done it. I think your best bet is to just go in and raise the volume on it. I like the fact that you're recording it on a separate track too, since you're using the H4n. I actually have the LiveTrack L8 here, and I didn't realize, I don't know that I would actually ever use this feature, but it actually has an input for a phone. So you could take the headphone jack and connect your headphone jack from your phone, or adapter to a headphone jack to the L8 mixer, and you can record that call. And Brett says yes to the phone audio on their end. It's muffled, etc. Well, that's because people take their phone and they talk with it like this, and they like talk into their shoulder rather than into the phone. And it drives me crazy. I have a few friends that do this, and it drives me up a wall, because I can hear what they're saying, and then all of a sudden I can't hear what they're saying because they're like talking into their shoulder, and it's super frustrating. I have some family members that do the same thing too. So it's like, I'm hearing the conversation, all of a sudden I'm not hearing the conversation. I think one thing I would tell them to do is that would probably help is get the earbuds, get the ear pods out, and use those for that. I always ask them to use ear pods. Yeah, because it just sounds so much better. It puts the mic in a much better position, and you don't have to worry about the phone sliding around on their, between their head and their shoulder. The only thing you have to worry about then is like it rubbing up against if they start getting all animated while they're talking. And Brett, I totally get it, because like when we were doing me and shout out to Krista Joy, we're doing the Living the Dream podcast together. We did a bunch of interviews with Disney legends, and a number of those interviews were all done over the phone, which was not great. The audio quality was just not great. I'm wondering, let me see. I think one that stands out to me that was definitely over the phone. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I might have to reshare my screen so you can hear it. Who was it? It was Ronnie Del Carmen. So let me reshare my screen here so that you can hear the audio. Okay, so this is the interview with Ronnie Del Carmen. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Ronnie Del Carmen was the co-director on Disney Pixar's Inside Out. So we got to do that to get. Actually, I guess it was like 10 minutes or something. I don't know if this is the file.
Good morning, Joe.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing magical, just like every day.
Brett, can you let me know if you hear this in the
You should
be hearing it, but
I'm doing good. I just finished another interview where the last words I said was living the dream. So.
Oh. Well, you definitely are living the dream.
I most certainly am.
All right, well, let's get started so as not to waste too much time.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here, Ronnie. I really appreciate you taking the time.
It's my pleasure. So I'm happy to be here.
And thank you so much for your hard work and the creative work that you've given over in my door.
Always wanted to tell stories. Directing is something that I aspire to just so that I can.
So the audio quality there is not. I mean, it wasn't bad. Clearly, he was on an actual landline. It's usually a lot worse if it's on a cell phone, because it's just the frequencies that are coming through the phone are just so low that it's not or such a narrow band that it just does not sound good. And I'm trying to think. I know at least a couple other one of these interviews that I did specifically for this show, but I think there's a handful that I did with the Dreamers podcast, Super Joe Pardo show, that I just can't remember which ones it was. I can't remember. There's George Scribner. That might be. I don't know if this one.
Our guest today is a contractor for Walt Disney Imagineering.
There were these great, powerful, overwhelming scenes of these wildebeest stampedes when they're being hunted. And I thought that would be cool to have Mufasa be tripped up or somehow or other end up in one of these stampedes and basically trampled to death. And then he's found by Simba. And some of the structural stuff of the film is still there.
Sadly, you can't hear these anymore. They're not. These interviews are not available anywhere. I need to do something. I need to get these interviews up somewhere, because there were some really great interviews in this show. But I think. I mean, I just did the best that I could with just brightening it up in post, raising the volume and then applying an EQ to it to try to fix the audio that was there. Let me see. Do I have the original recording? Because maybe what I could do is I could open it up in. Those are golden interviews. Yeah, no, they are. I mean, there's. I know that you probably can't read all the names in there. Because there's definitely some, like, Garner Holt, Linda Larkin, Mike Purcell, Terry Hardin Jackson. Like there's some really, Jennifer McGill, Tony Bancroft, Tom Navy, who was the original Tom Sawyer in Disneyland, who was hired by Walt Disney himself. Sam Genoway, Kevin John. So so Brett uses. I also use Declip and Declick. Geez, yeah, right. These are really. I wish we could have found a way to keep doing this show. Dr. Jeff Barnes, Lee Cockrell, Ron Schneider. There's a lot of great interviews in this show that just sadly they're relaunching. She's relaunching the show with a good friend of ours. So I'm happy that they're doing that, but it's taking a slightly different slant at it, and so I know it was a magical time for sure. I wish I could have kept doing it. I wish I could have found a way to keep doing them. So anyway, I think for me, like, I would just try to brighten it up. I would cut out the low frequencies probably as much as possible, because that's where like the or you can't really hear it, but I go like that is coming through because there's no pop filter on their phone kind of thing. That's probably the best way that I've gone through to like clean up a phone call interview. I'm trying to think. I know there was at least a couple that I did on Super Joe Pardo's show at one point, but I don't remember specifically who. I'd have to dig through the 400 episodes of that show to find him. But yeah, I know it can be difficult. It stinks, right? Like, because I remember a couple times we pushed pretty hard to get some of our people to like use a Skype account to like make the phone call with, rather than just a basic phone number through a phone. And I think one or two of them just did not come out really good. I mean, I remember there were some interviews I've done where the person was using like their built-in laptop microphone, and it just sounded terrible. It really, and I spent like a lot of time trying to clean it up to get to use it. I can't quite recall the name of the person, and I don't really want to call them out, but yeah, it was a really difficult process to get that fixed. Brett says, "Thank you for all your help, sir. With my type of guest, it's 95% phoners. Some will do video, but it's rare due to the nature of scheduling." Yeah, I mean, and in some way, I think, Brett, the important thing there to remember is that we as podcasters, we as media content creators, we just got to do the best with what we have, right? It's how it was. We can't always go back and be like, well, the World War II footage would have been so much more awesome if it was shot 8K ultra high definition, and shot natively with like, I use shot as a pun, I guess, but natively with like Dolby Atmos support for like the bombs and the fire coming overhead and all that. Like, yeah, that footage would have been awesome. In fact, there's a great what was that? They Shall Not Grow Old. Was the documentary that was from Peter Jackson. I haven't watched it yet because apparently it's super depressing, because like most of the people that were in it like didn't survive. So like the tone of it, it's all from World War One or Two, I forget. They Shall Not Grow Old. I'm gonna Google it because that's what we do here. Is it World War One? I think it's World War One. Yeah, World War One. So he took the footage and he turned it into, he colorized it and made it into a 2 hour. I didn't realize it was over 2 hours. I thought it was like an hour, like a little over an hour, like 80 minutes or something. But like you just work with what you got and the budget that you have within it. And remember that, there's radio stations all over the planet, right, that are waiting. Oh, Brett says it's a great film. I need to watch it. I just don't want to be sad for for 2 hours. There's these radio stations all over the planet that are that are basically leaning on people picking up their cell phones and calling in for to give their take on what's going on and all that stuff, right? Like here in Philly, we have 4 sports radio stations alone, and that's what they're the CBS, like $30 billion company, relying on people to pick up their big old cell phone and like call in their opinion of what's going on with their one of our sports teams. You know what? That's hilarious. Oh man. So we're talking about Skype, and look what shows up in my email. Extend your subscription for calling. I literally just I think last week I canceled it before, like coincidentally right before it was going to renew. And here they must have been listening, because here they are in my inbox saying, hey, you can extend it for just $30.50 a month, which I think is more than I've ever paid, because it's always been, since like 2014, I've been paying like $29.99. And I might have even paid for it before that, because I think I used Skype to call home when we went on our honeymoon in Italy and Europe. So I think I had it for even longer than that to be able to call home. So bye, Skype. Where are we at here? So Brett says, I have always viewed my show in that light, a radio call-in show. Yeah, I think you just kind of have to roll with the punches. Like this is what you have to work with, right? Like your voice can sound incredible, can sound perfect, but you can only expect so much out of the people that are giving you their time, when their time is already like super stretched as it is. So you just roll with what you got, right? And that's it. That's the best that you can do. You could offer to send them like, hey, I'll send you a microphone, a whole setup, like, but that doesn't mean they're gonna know how to use it or have the time to use it or want to get frustrated by using it. When all I know is I could just pick up my phone and have a phone call conversation, and bam, I just like worked with the press. That's one piece that really, you just do with what you got, and it's not always pretty, but it's the best that we have to offer for people. And hopefully sometime in the future they will HD calling will become a wider thing that you can do with more people. So and to your point, Brett, it is pretty cool though that at least you're able to get a clean like output from the phone into your recorder, so you're not like trying to make it you're not just, I don't know how to say it, like you're not just like putting the phone next to the recorder and like recording it like off of the microphone. So I would just roll with what you got. It's the best that you're going to get, and it's the best that most situations are going to get, right? Like most people in the media that like get, unless you're going and doing a sit down with them, and doing a video, or and likely doing video with them. It's just how it is. It's just what you're going to get out of it. So, yeah, that's a great question though. How to edit that and take give yourself some credit that like, hey, at least you can do those interviews. You're not like, well, I do everything through this service and that's it. Like that's the only way I do it. Because honestly, if I was going back to doing interviews and I was doing interviews like you, Brett, I would probably pay Skype the money again and go back to recording calls. Maybe. Well, actually, I don't know, because now I have a L8 board that I could record right directly into. So I might not do that, but I don't know, because I don't want my phone to be tied up. I kind of like the idea that like nobody really has my Skype number, so I could just use that, and nobody's going to be able to call me at the same time and like knock me off. So yeah, that's that. So that's a great question, because I wonder if there's more people out there that are trying to do interviews and they're like getting people that want to pick up the phone and just have a phone call conversation rather than sitting down in front of their computer and all that. So Brett says, can you drop a link to the LA board? Oh, L8. Yes, I can. I can pull it up here. Live track L-8. So it's $399. I'm going to talk about this board on a Tech Tuesday coming up. It was annoying at first. It took me, and shout out to Ross Brand, a while to figure out how to actually use it, because like most things, there was just that one thing that I couldn't figure out how to make it so it wouldn't loop my incoming audio back out to the microphone. And oh, it's all right, Brett. And while I was like, oh, I'll figure this out. And we sat there for like, I don't know, like an hour. And I was pouring through the manual on how to figure this out because I just could not get it to work. And as it turned out, it was the only way to do it was to use the multiple mixes that, like, see those mix switches up in the top, and like basically plug my headphones into something that's not the master, so that because if it comes through the master, like, then you're gonna hear yourself, and like you can kind of play around with it. But now that I understand how to work it, I actually quite like it, and it's battery powered. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to talk. There's a renewed one for $50 off. So it's battery powered. It has an SD card slot. I think it's a full size SD card slot. It might not. I think it's a full size. So you could actually record, I think, up to 2 hours with this device, and have like sound effects built right in, and you get all the channels, and you can switch between which channel's going to get the step, and then like the high, mid low thing. So it's an interesting way that they went about building this thing. One big downside in my opinion, is the 48 volt is across all 6 channels. So while that is helpful, if you don't have 6 microphones that require phantom power, then that's a bit of a downside. So I'm pretty happy with it overall. I like the fact that it's cheaper than the Rode caster, and I like the fact that it's battery powered and can be used as a solo recorder, that I could take, like, when I do when we finally get back to Indie PodCon events in person. Like, I could use this to both stream and record the soundtrack from the live stream, or from like the virtual ticket. So I could record the virtual ticket through this, and I could live stream through it, all with just off of a USB cord, single cord. It doesn't require any extra power, though. I think it doesn't even have an extra power spot at all, other than just popping in batteries in the bottom. So I really like it. I'll talk more in depth about it coming up in maybe I'll talk about this Tuesday or next Tuesday for Tech Tuesday. So I think the footprint of it is great. The flexibility of it is great, and I'm very happy with it. So thanks for asking, Brett. I think that the usability is kind of not great. So and then the cool thing is they have that built-in spot where you can like plug in your phone, and you get that mix minus built into it, so that they won't hear the feedback of themselves, back out to themselves. So yeah, that's the L8. I'm going to, let me see here. Can I go through? How do I figure out? I probably should have figured this out sooner, but I'm going to go through the YouTube subscribers and find me a one at random to name for a Free Ride Friday, which I might have to do off camera, because I thought I could see who was subscribed to the channel, but apparently I can't. So I need to do some research on that. So I will do that. Don't forget, tomorrow is SEO for Podcasting. It's a free live virtual conference. It's starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I think we're going until about 1 o'clock. So it's about 3 hours of SEO goodness. Looking forward to that. I'll be speaking on the power of Yoast and why you need to use that, and as well as 3 other speakers, Jessica Foster, Tim Gillette, and Regina Celeste, all will be speaking. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, this episode is brought to you by Supercharge Your Podcast. Turn your podcast into your business, build a stronger community, make more money, and get more notoriety for your show. Go to superchargeyourpodcast.com. Check it out. Also, don't forget about IndiePod University. You can get over 150 plus hours and growing of podcasting resource videos. Go to indiepodu.com. And go check it out. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I'm got some clients I'm meeting with in a little bit, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for SEO for Podcasting. Take care, everybody.